Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, Claire. How are you doing?
I am good. I am well.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
And I have a word for you, which
Ready.
a little bit of thinking about because we've done a lot of words on this. And the word is surprising that we haven't done this one. Awareness.
Mm, yeah. Well, I'm going to say something that I've heard probably hundreds of times, and then I'll go into how sometimes I really don't know what that means, but that we are awareness. That is what we are. Yeah. And it's a if this was a swearing channel, I would say it messes with your mind. It's a mind scrambler. I'd say. Yeah. The so first of all, in awareness, just being conscious of anything and everything through the senses of our body, right? We we taste, smell, hear, and there's also some things that don't seem to engage any of those, but there's an awareness of something. It's more like a reaction within the body, a chemical reaction in our body. But we're aware, we know we're aware. Where does this want to go? What I know about awareness is that the more it's not, yes, I can be aware that there's a pen. I'm aware of the temperature. I can hear the furnace fan running, the cooling circulation. I can see things with my eyes. There's that awareness. And those are kind of like surface things. And then there's it's when I see through, we call it seeing it with fresh eyes, or having fresh thoughts, or a new perspective. It's like seeing deeper, but it's more like seeing through, so seeing more clearly with less thought. So if I'm looking through a very dirty window, and then I give it a wash, I can see things more clearly. They look different. Yeah. So awareness is really how we evolve,
Hmm.
moment to moment, seeing things differently. What made sense to me, last week, the year before, 10 years ago, they don't make the same sense to me necessarily today in this moment.
Hmm.
And that is due to a deeper awareness or a higher awareness. We talk about it, it's kind of interchangeable with the world consciousness, that we become more conscious. Yeah. And what kind of leads to that is an openness and a willingness to see something new or fresh. I mean, sometimes it's just a surprise, right? It just comes up and it's like, oh, I never saw it like that before. We hear something or we see something, or
Hmm.
something that was, didn't make sense before. All of a sudden it makes sense. Yeah. So awareness is like all that we are, which is crazy because we see this body, we have all we're on this material plane, but really that's all it is. Awareness is just energy, and that's all we are, just moving about in this seemingly physical material plane, intaking information, not even intaking, it's like observing. It's like we're We're riding it. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me what you see about awareness and see what,
Yeah, I mean, I've often said it's like a superpower. It's almost like, it's like all we need, like you say, for us to change and grow. But that's not what we're sold in the good old world of self-development. It seems like that awareness has to be tainted with other things, mainly judgment. I remember Michael Neal shared a little formula once on something of his I was on, and he said awareness plus judgment equals self-consciousness. And awareness, judgment-free awareness, so awareness, I suppose, minus judgment, equals a rise in consciousness. Because, like a lot of the self-development world says, have a good poke around and find out what's wrong with you. That's your starting point. Start for 10, find out at least 10 things that are wrong with you. You know, go and find the things. Become very aware of how dreadful you are and how much you're doing in life. And then we'll smash all of that for you. You know, we'll set some goals and we'll do it all from the behavior end then, because I think that's what happens as well with the judgmental awareness is then we get into the behavior end. We've got to kind of fix the behavior end of whatever it is, you know. With that non-judgmental awareness, it just seems to make less sense to do things over time that like you said we might have done 10 years ago or even 2 weeks ago, and we suddenly go, oh, actually, yeah, being caught up in that suddenly doesn't make sense, or behaving like that doesn't suddenly make sense. Bruce and I have been navigating something the last couple of weeks, so not last Monday, the Monday before. No, which Monday? No, a couple of weeks ago, whatever the Monday was, a couple of weeks ago. It was a bank holiday, and Bruce and I were driving down to London, and something was going off in our family life, and Bruce and I properly just ranted. We just ranted I mean, it's a 200-mile journey. I reckon a good 100 miles we were ranting. And then at some point we went, right, should we just listen to something nice for a while? Let's just not talk, because every time we started talking again, we went back into this problem that we perceived was a problem that needed to be sorted out. And there was that, so that awareness, it didn't need judgment of, well, you know the 3 principles and you shouldn't be ranting about this other person's behavior anymore because you should be better than that. But it didn't need all that. It just needed this, oh, this is just starting, and I'm conscious he's driving as well, and I don't want him to be rattled while he's driving. And there just became this, oh, let's just put that down for a while. We both kind of said at some point, right, let's just, so we were prepping for Living Miraculously, and we had some things to listen to, so we just started listening to that, and you know, that was a much nicer experience of the following 100 miles. But there didn't need, I mean, in the past, I think for me, there would have been judgment with that awareness. There wouldn't have been just me noticing, seriously, we've been talking about this, we're both starting to feel a bit icky now, we need to stop it. It would have been, and you should know better. You know, you should know better now. You're on this. And I found that can come into this conversation. I used to find that in you and I both volunteered in the heartfelt room, and I used to find a lot of people came into that room with the awareness heaped with judgment. You know, I know this now, I know this 3 principles thing, therefore I shouldn't ever be losing my mind. My God, I'm fairly sure everybody in the 3 principles conversation loses their mind over something at some point, because that's human. And yes, that there's hopefully, as we go on this journey, a bit of a faster recovery. Perhaps we, you know, for me, awareness often feels like standing on the platform and watching your experience go past. And sometimes we get on the crazy train, right off the cliff into the, into the lagoon or whatever, whatever it does, like in a cowboy movie where somebody's blown up the track and it just goes just goes over and sometimes we totally leave and get on that crazy train, go right to the end of the line kind of thing. And we are just human, and we're just navigating what makes sense in the moment. So we don't want to be using awareness for kind of beating ourselves up, which I think it can be. But like you said, seeing that that's actually who we really are, this pure awareness. And that doesn't, like, it feels like it belongs with the peace, love, and wisdom. In that it's not got, it won't have harshness to it, because at our core of that awareness, we're love, not angst or hatred or beating ourselves up. None of that's what we're made of. So if it doesn't feel good, you're probably not in a place of pure non-judgmental awareness, because it's going to feel bad if you're judging yourself, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And awareness is it just is. Like we are aware. Even when we think we're not aware, we're aware of something. And we're all aware of different things. I've heard that they're just so, when people say that they don't see anything, they're so unaware. But they are aware. Everyone is aware. There is no one that is not aware. But we're all going to be more aware of maybe one thing than another. So you might be more aware of the smells in a room. I might be more aware or conscious of the sounds in a room, right? Like, it's like we all have our thing that we really spot. And it doesn't mean that we are unaware people. There is no such thing, maybe unless they are unconscious in a coma. I can't speak to something like that. Like that would, but even then I hear people they're still aware. You can still speak to them. So yeah. So I love what you said about, because it is helpful to, if there's something, if you're noticing that you're struggling or, with something's not going right, whatever it is, we all got something going on in our day at one time or another that we sort of feel like we bump up against. It does help to just sort of take a step back, because typically we get into a habit of thought around that thing. We all have a few things that we kind of are really, it's like, oh, this is the thing that I struggle with in my life, kind of thing, or that we bump up against. It does help to just sort of settle back and allow be willing to see something different about it. Allow it to go through. If you're struggling, if you're feeling that tension, that your mind is involved, and that's the only thing that gets in the way of the pure awareness, is our thinking mind, is our judgment around it, or what we believe we need to do in order to change something or whatever. And it's like, if we can just allow that to just settle, allow ourselves to settle back and really just see what we see. Allow it to come, because it'll come up, it'll bubble up. And yes, allow it to be what it is. You might have a giggle at it. I've had giggles at things that it's like, oh my gosh, I can so see what I've been doing, how I've been creating this scenario over and over and over, innocently. And once you kind of see what's going on, how your mind is getting, your personal mind is getting involved and interjecting. Once you see it, it's like it cracks a path open. It's like it's popped something open, and it's like a doorway into, it's like, oh my gosh, I can see what's going on. How often do we say, it's like I saw something new, or I see what's going on? That is all that's necessary for any kind of change to happen. is to become aware of what is really going on. And yeah, you don't have to go digging around for it. Just know that something is being interjected in with by the mind, and it's causing friction, some kind of resistance to what is, whatever it is. Can be 1,000,001 things, and different for each of us.
It's a lot, and it's like you can't unsee it, can you? Once you've started to notice something, you don't tend to go back from that. I remember that one time when I received yet another unpleasant message from somebody in our lives, and I'd always replied from that place of anger, and then just having this real, almost like looking inward moment, like this place of awareness. Oh, aware, I'm like a volcano inside. That means I'm probably not going to write a very clever message here. It's going to be not very helpful. And almost hearing that voice that just said, put your phone down, Claire, because you're not really in a fit state to answer this message. And then karma later on, it didn't make sense to send a message. And it was almost like a noticing of the state of my body in that moment. And I'm finding more and more, since I've kind of flipped over to this well-run, good-feeling business concept, that I want to be in that. I'm becoming increasingly aware of how I do feel in my body, and that's involving pausing a little bit more during the day, not banging from one thing to the next, which often leads to procrastination, but sometimes just pausing and taking a breath and making a more considered and aware decision about what the next thing is I'm going to do, rather than just plowing through it all like without a breath, really. Because I think when we're busy doing, I think we tend to be less effectively aware, shall we say. Of course we're always aware, but in terms of wanting to navigate life with more ease, just getting that in.
Someone should do a podcast about
that. They should, shouldn't they? Something about the slowing down enough to notice the state that our body is in. Because without that awareness, we will just go blah, 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 blah. Like we'll be making our decisions and doing our things and behaving from that place of poor state of mind is the best way to put it, I think. And we don't have enough time, give ourselves enough time to breathe and notice how we're feeling. We just do because the world seems to demand that of us, seems to demand speed and pace and hustle, and especially in business. It seems to be just all the time, got to do more, reaching out, got to do more marketing, got to do just in it. And actually, we've no idea how effective most of that's going to be. But I think if we slow down and become aware of how we're feeling, we will continue to make better decisions about everything in life, really.
Yeah. Absolutely. We are well taken care of.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you.
That was a great word.
Done that one before, actually, and thank goodness, because I was struggling to find it. Maybe I need to chat with my friend ChatGPT and see if it can come up with some more. Thank you so much,
Fun.
Michaela. And thank you to all the listeners who are listening.
Mm-hmm.
Bless you all.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Take care. See you next time.
You bet. Ciao.
Bye. Bye.